Folks, welcome into sportsbookreview.com. It's Friday, and it's time to talk some Major League Baseball. Yesterday, we thought we were talking some Major League Baseball with one game on deck. Actually got canceled. But today, we are off and running for a full card. Excited to be back, kicking off the second half of Major League Baseball in style. I'm Donnie Seymour. He's Jason Radowitz, along with Kyle Purviance. It's time, Jason.
Yeah, it's time. Finally, we get some baseball. We got the All-Star game, but it's not the same. Get back on the grind, find some games we like to bet on, and start making some money again.
Yeah, got some cancellations already. We're going to, maybe chime into one of these earlier games in Detroit, but it looks like both of those games have been canceled in the doubleheader. But we are getting underway here, Kyle. A huge card tonight. COVID scare yesterday. Looks like that has passed, and we're ready for some Major League Baseball.
Yeah, COVID scare. Does that even exist anymore? Just let it go. What a bunch of nonsense. And, of course, they're playing today. Just let it go. Yes, El said all the way up. I love this in the chat box. I'll bite on this here. Whoever gives me their 7 best parlay, you'll stake $100.
Yeah, no, give it to me.
So let's do this right here. Let's just do it real quick. We'll just take money line winners here. We'll go the Cubs. We'll go the Braves. We'll go the Astros. We'll go the Reds. We'll go the Dodgers and the A's and the Blue Jays. There you go. Write them down. Bet them in. Money line it. And let's hit it tonight. I'm looking. There you go. $1,000. Get ready. I'll send you my PayPal later.
There you go. Cash them up, ready to go. 87,100 people have hit the subscribe button right here at sportsbookreview.com. On our way to the moon as we head towards football season, but a lot left to go in Major League Baseball season. We all want to win money, right? How about the SBR contest that we're putting on right now? If you need more details, look just above there where that yellow highlight is. Free MLB picks there. Click on that. You get the link to it, and it's $20,000 in Bitcoin up for grabs. I could explain it all day long, but why don't we let Lee Martin tell you about the finer points and details right here on this video.
The free $20,000 MLB 10 runs for free cash contest is now live at SBRforum.com. What is the contest? It's simple. Each day in a designated SBR forum post, you pick one team that you think will score 10 or more runs that day. You qualify to win $100 that day if you are correct. Each day the game continues, you pick another team. And every time your team scores 10 runs, you'll be adding onto your total score. The contest is split into 3 segments, and at the end of each segment, the top scorers split $2,500. And at the conclusion of the contest, there's even more cash up for grabs, in total over $20,000. And I know what you're thinking. You can just pick the Yankees every day and win. No, you can only pick the same team once per week. Check out the link in the description for more info, and see you in the SBR forum for the contest.
Minnesota and Detroit here canceled, so obviously we're not going to have anything to welcome you guys in on some in-game live updates to go over, but then again, it was a doubleheader. We probably didn't have any plays on those as well, but why don't we kick it off? Let's start this second half off, get to some of the marquee games on the card tonight. Jason, we'll start with you first, and we're going to start down in Washington here, 9:05, 9:06, San Diego, Washington. Paddock on the mound versus Fedde. If we take a look at the line movement here, opened up offshore, Jason, at Pinnacle, -129, now currently sits at 132. In New Jersey, 138, as high as 140 to 143. 9.5s across this board in this ball game. Did you have any looks or feels for this? Because, coming back, I actually had San Diego circled here as the possibility of a team total. Fedde's usually one of those guys you look to try to, fade a little bit here. Struggles a little bit with left-handed batters, which we should have a decent amount here for the Padres. What are your looks tonight? Padres, Washington Nationals here, Jason.
Yeah, Fedde, he did start off the season really well, but recently it's been a disaster for Fedde. If you go to his stats, in his last 3 games, he's allowed 5 runs against the Phillies, 6 runs against the Padres, again, going up against the Padres again. And then also the Giants, he allowed 3 runs, 8 hits in just 5 innings of work. Did have 7 strikeouts in that game, but we know the Giants are the team that strikes out a ton in the National League. So, yeah, Fedde hasn't looked great, but, even if you look at Paddock, he hasn't been great either. Actually, his last outing against the Rockies was a blown save where he came in due to an injury to Weathers, and then he blew that save, allowed a home run in that game. Still looked much better, 4 strikeouts, no walks, still allowed 4 hits in 2 innings, and before that, against the Nationals, 9 hits and 9 runs in 2 innings. So both these guys haven't been the best recently. They're hoping, obviously, both these guys get back on track for the second half of the season. I trust the Padres more in this spot, like you had said earlier. You look at the Padres, they've done a lot better against righties kind of towards the end of the first half of the season. Pham, Tatis, Cronenworth, Machado, Grisham, and Myers have all really high ISOs in the last 30 days. You also have Hosmer, who's a lefty, Caratini will also be a lefty. Those are the two guys that haven't done nearly as well, but they do have good matchups against Fetty. So I do like the Padres here over 2.5 and the team total in the first 5. And that market now, it's on DraftKings, so I don't feel guilty at all anymore for taking these.
Load up and get after it, Kyle. We take a look here down in Washington between San Diego and Washington. Lefties that are anticipated to be in the lineup tonight for San Diego: Cronenworth, Grisham, Hosmer, and also Caratini. Fetty with a 4.84 xFIP on the season. A little slightly high-weighted on base average. 2 lefties at 363, but on the season has done very well versus right-handed bats at a 289. But we're getting 91 degrees at first pitch with a light wind blowing out. That's hitting weather, baby.
Oh, yeah. Both these team totals are absolutely live. Both these pitchers, Jason touched on it. Wide range of outcomes. In Paddock's last 5 starts, he's had fantasy totals of 58 points, and he's also had negative 12 against this Nationals team. As a matter of fact, both these pitchers were rocked the last time these two teams met just before the All-Star break. I do think there's a little bit of value on the Padres in the first 5 innings. It's unusual. You don't see it very often. At least I haven't this year, where a team – at most books, the Padres team totals at 5.5. You're getting Washington most places at 4.5. So everyone's expecting them to score at least one more run. Then you can get a minus 0.5 in the first 5 at plus 105. So you're getting a little bit of plus money on a team who's otherwise favored. I think that's an interesting way to go. Definitely think both team totals are live. Home run props for Tatis, absolutely live tonight. The ball should be flying out of the park. Fetty's an absolute can. I might have just jinxed everything by saying that. I try to stop myself, but I just can't help it. Both team totals absolutely live, but I do like that plus money spot on the Padres minus 0.5 in the first 5 innings.
All right, 9:33, 9:34, 7:20 start down in Hotlanta tonight. Waka versus Morton. To me, if you're looking at this game, Morton is the better pitcher over Waka, and we're seeing a slight favorite here for the Atlanta Braves. However, opened up offshore here, Jason, at minus 128. Has dropped a little bit to 123 here in New Jersey, around that 133 to 135 range. 8.5s across the board. That's down from 9s. And also take a look at the FanDuel Sportsbook. They have an odds boost tonight. 0 runs scored in the first inning, which we know appropriately as a nerfy. That is now plus 120. So maybe they can get through the first part of that lineup. It'll be interesting to see what we get out of Atlanta for the second half of the baseball season. Jock Peterson now in town. I still think they need a little bit more help sniffing around Chris Bryant, but then again, so are a couple teams here in the NL East. What are we looking at tonight from your side, Tampa Bay versus Atlanta? Because before I throw it to you, Tampa Bay looks like they're going to have a ton of left-handed bats in the lineup tonight, Jason.
Yeah, like you said, the Braves are going to bring in on Jock Peterson. I don't think he'll be playing today. I think it could be kind of early. We'll see how that works out. But they need another lefty in the lineup. They'll have Freeman, Albies a switch hitter, but outside of that, they're mainly righties, and Acuna obviously done for the year. So getting Jock is going to be a big boost for the Braves, and every single team, even Donnie's Phillies and the Washington Nationals, believe that they can win the NL East. So there's going to be probably 3 teams in that division that they're going to go out and sign a bunch of players and not make the playoffs. So yeah, it's going to be interesting when you're looking at that from that perspective, because we know that the NL West will likely have the wild card winners when it comes down to it. But going back to this game, Rays versus Braves, I think the Braves, they got the better matchup, but going up against Waka, Waka, he actually has been worse against righties in the last couple of outings. Plate appearances, 32 plate appearances in the last 30 days, 403 weighted OBA, ISO of 484. So look at this lineup. Yeah, you're going to have Freeman, if Albies going from the left side, but the rest will be righties. They're not the top tier righties, but they're good enough righties to hit against Waka. So yeah, I see runs in this game. Of course, Morton I think should be able to shut down this Rays lineup. They're not terrific. Yeah, they have a lot of lefties in there, so they can do some damage. But even if you look at the last 45 plate appearances from the left side against Morton, it's an ISO of like what the chat likes to hear, 0.00. So Morton is holding down against lefties when it comes to power. So I would go with the Braves here in the first 5. You look at a minus 130. I think that's the play. But again, the Braves lineup is so depleted at this point. Jock Peterson likely not going to be in the lineup. It's really hard to back the Braves right this second.
Yeah, and also, like, they're getting Jock Peterson. It's not like they're getting Barry Bonds in his prime of, like, the year 2000. I mean, he's hitting 230 with 11 home runs. We could sort of, calm. Oh, I got Jock. He's going to be crazy. Does it help? Yes, because they're in need of certainly some talent infusion in that lineup. Kyle, when I take a look here, again, hot and muggy conditions down in Atlanta tonight, but you don't get a lot after the 4th guy in the lineup anticipated to be Riley. Arcia, Swanson, Herrera, and Smith have been terrible in the season versus right-handed pitching, which is exactly what Waka usually struggles with. But then again, it still is Waka. on the mound here, Kyle.
Yeah, and last time I bashed on Walker, he went out and like no hit through 5 innings. So I'm trying to be very careful here. First of all, only 27 people hit the thumbs up button. Hit the damn thumbs up button, people. Like, do us a favor. 200 people watching.
They're coming out of the break, Kyle. They're tired.
Come on. I know you're a little tired. The button's right down there. Just hit the damn thing. That would be great if you could do that for all of us. This game. So right out of the gate, anytime it's a Tampa Bay game, I'm looking at the pitcher and I'm looking at strikeout props because Tampa Bay strikes out more than any team in baseball. Then you start to get a little nervous. Then I'm like, hey, I kind of like the Braves here in the first 5 innings. I know they don't have Acuna, but Morton, it's night and day, the difference between Morton and Waka here. Minus 0.5 in the first 5 innings at minus 110. It was actually plus money a little bit earlier today, so that line is starting to move. I like the Braves here in the first 5 innings. I know the lineup still needs a little bit of help, and Tampa Bay certainly overall has been the better team, but I just can't get behind Michael Waka. I just can't do it. So for me, it'll be Braves minus 0.5 in the first 5 innings at minus 110. Freddie Freeman, home run prop, absolutely live. 4 of 10 in his career. He's never homered. Couple of doubles. I like the Braves here at minus 0.5 in the first 5 innings. Just give me Morton over Waka. Nothing super official. I wouldn't put a ton of money on it, but the Braves just stand out to me when I look at all the numbers.
Any nerfy tonight shot on this? Because as I was talking about, was a now plus 120 here on FanDuel for no runs in the first inning versus Atlanta Tampa. Any looks on that, Kyle, or no? Just passing on it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pass on that. I thought about it. I'm not gonna lie, but no, that one I just have to let it go just a little bit. For me, if I'm gonna bet the game, I'm just gonna take the Braves in the first 5 and hope Morton brings the good stuff tonight.
There you go. Let's keep moving it down the list here. 927, 928. Good game. 2 first-place ball clubs here. Houston Astros, Chicago White Sox, McCullers versus Cease on the mound. An 8.5 pinnacle here, Jason. Offshore opened up as a total. Now sits at 9. A slight move here also to the road team, Houston. And I agree with that. 120 to 123, 130s to 135s, depending on what you're shopping at here in New Jersey. But taking a look at the matchups overall on the mound, Lance McCullers comes in on the season here. He's got some pretty good numbers between both lefty and righty splits. 287 weighted on base average to the lefties, 276 to the righties, 27% strikeout rate here. So he's been decent, but also you're taking a look at the lineup here anticipated once again for the Houston Astros. We'll see if they make a move because, as I said, the NL East team's looking at Chris Bryant. It's also rumored, Jason, that the Astros as well, looking at Chris Bryant. Hey, man, sometimes the rich get richer, and if you're looking to win World Series, push all your chips into the middle of the table. That's what you do here. Take a look at this game tonight, Jason. Any thoughts between Houston and the White Sox here?
Yeah, like we said yesterday, the White Sox have not been great against teams above 500, and the Astros have been. This is a big series for the White Sox, also big for the Astros to prove that they are the top team in the AL. So coming out of the break, we know that in the All-Star game, of course, the Astros didn't go. The players didn't go, and they wanted to take them a break and take them time away with their family for a couple of days. Maybe that helped them, maybe it hurt them, but I'm going to go with the latter. I think it helped them. I think they'll be refreshed. I think they'll be ready to go. I think they're the better team. So Astros at a small price at around minus 130. I think that's the play here against the White Sox.
I like it, too. You take a look, because Cease has been a good pitcher here, really handling his business against lefties, Kyle, but to righties, a 332 weighted on base average, which is just slightly above average. But when you're taking a look at that first 6 batters in the lineup tonight, anticipated for Houston, take a look at the weighted on base averages. Altuve, 338, Brantley, 369, Correa, 356, Alvarez, 389, 353 for Gurriel, and 381 for Kyle Tucker. And also keep in mind, Cease is a pretty good strikeout pitcher. Close to 30% of the batters he's faced this year, he has struck out. But this lineup doesn't strike out that much for Houston. They're always in play for me, specifically, as Jason said, at a small price here.
Yeah, I like the Astros today. They were close to being on the value menu or one of my official wagers today. You just sort of look to, Cease hasn't been good against Houston. His last couple of starts didn't look very good, including a 4 in his last outing where Houston absolutely rocked him. On the flip side of that, McCullers, very, very solid, 34, 64, 34. Getting through those first 5 innings, shutting down the order. And you touched on it. The Houston lineup profiles beautifully tonight. When I look at the 3-year averages here, 36, 52, 9, 29, 27, 33, and 29. Again, I like this Astros lineup, and it's another spot. I know I'm doing a lot of first 5s today, but I'm finding some plus money spots there. Minus 0.5 in the first 5, plus 115 for Houston, I think makes a ton of sense. McCullers has shown he can get through this lineup and have success. Hasn't been that way for Cease. I like how the Astros lineup profiles tonight, so give me the Astros minus 0.5 in the first 5 at plus money. And I also don't mind a little sprinkle on that Astros team total. Either I believe it's at 4.5. I'm double checking. Over 4.5 minus 110. I think the Astros can get there tonight.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not a bad look. It's actually a very good game if you're just watching from a fan perspective, because you have two first-place teams that are certainly going to get after tonight. So let's take a look and slide it down here on the bar to value menu wagers. We got a pretty deep card tonight, but I'm always a little bit leery. The same way I am, I don't really bet much money on the last weekend, like Saturday and Sunday games, since most baseball players are checked out. And then coming back after the All-Star break, where these guys are just partying, letting loose, decompressing, just getting away from the game. Now you're expecting them to get right back in the box, hit play, and certainly pitch all of a sudden very well. I'm going to go to the well here with a really bad baseball team, and I don't care if they win the game because I bet team totals. That's the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, hear me out on this. Say, what? How could you go to the Arizona Diamondbacks? They're just basically, one or two trades away from being a single-A ball club. The thing I do like is they have so many left-handed batters that are going to play tonight versus Kyle Hendricks. If you look at Hendricks' numbers, 4.72 xFIP on the season, but he's absolutely gotten roasted versus left-handed batters. 369 weighted on base average, ISO power number of 236. I need 3.5 runs in this game at minus 120. I'm not even paying that much for it. I think they can get 4 runs today off of the Chicago Cubs. And also keep in mind, around that Cubs clubhouse, are we using Kimbrel tonight when you want to sell him? Last thing you want to do is send this guy out when you have no business at making the playoffs. You're not even close to it. Him to get an arm injury, and there you go. You're not going to get 2 or 3 prospects back from another organization. So both of these teams raising the white flag. They don't care who wins. Neither do I. I just want 4 runs out of the Diamondbacks, and I'm going to get it tonight. What do you take a look at here, Jason, tonight on your value menu card?
Yeah, so we already talked about it. It'll be the Padres over 2.5 in the first 5 at minus 125. Going up against Eric Fetty, he's looked lost in his last 3 outings. I expect that again. Obviously, 1 out of those 3 outings was against the Padres, and they torched him. I think that happens again. Sometimes the Padres do get off to a slow start, but kind of hard to get off to a slow start against a guy like Fetty, who just can't get outs right now.
No, certainly. Kyle, what do you got tonight? Firing on some fast food. Where are we at?
Oh, yeah, Friday's payday. We got some fast food wagers. Here. We got some team totals, and Jason's going to love this. I like the New York Mets over 4.5, minus 110. Look, Chad Kuhl is not cool. And you look at these lefties in the Mets lineup, up and down. Nimmo, Dom Smith, Conforto, McNeil, all smash righties. Of course, Pete Alonso actually is a little bit better against righties than he is against lefties. Love the advantages tonight up and down the board. 10, 20, 21, 3, 5, 14. Mets should be able to score tonight. The weather, keep an eye on that weather. I know it's not perfect for this game, but it doesn't look like it should be postponed. Maybe a delay or 2. Bad Pirates bullpen. Mets team total over 4.5. I think they get it done tonight. And then the one that's going to make me sick, and if you've been watching this show all year, it may make the rest of you sick as well. A team who I said I would never support again, but the numbers just simply do not lie. Eli Morgan pitching for Cleveland. Give me that Oakland A's team total over 4.5, minus 110 as well. Is it still at 110? Let me double check, because people get so angry when I get that number just a little bit wrong here, but I believe that's what it's at. Minus 120 now, over 4.5. So there we go, over 4.5, minus 120. Big time advantages in the middle of that lineup. Righties smashing righties. You've got Laureano 34%, Murphy, Chapman, Piscotty, Olsen, even Jed Lowry has been solid. I think the A's can get it done tonight as well. So for some value menu wagers, Mets team total over 4.5, and gulp, those Oakland A's over 4.5 as well. Let's see if they can get off of my shit list tonight.
There you go. Let's flip it down here. Best bets on the Major League Baseball card for me. I don't have any best bets. Went over the card today. Said, look, man, some of these guys got drunk last night. I'm out. I'm not putting my hard-earned money or giving a best bet or banker out on at something I have no idea what's going to happen. Same thing week 1 in the NFL football season. I love week 1 in the NFL. You know what? I don't bet it at all because I have no idea what's going to take place. Monday, I'll be back. We'll be rocking and rolling. These guys will get back into their groove. But for me, putting my record on the line on something I have no idea is going to happen tonight, I'm out on it, Jason. What are you talking about? What do you got tonight? Best bets for you.
Yeah, so I'm doing something crazy today. I looked at, in the morning, look, there were a lot of teams and a lot of undecided starting pitchers. So it was really hard to find wagers that made sense, of course. And I stumbled upon the Phillies and Marlins game in the first game of the doubleheader, which is something I never do. I never go to doubleheaders. But on MGM, I saw the over 3.5 in the first 5 at minus 135 for a game where Matt Moore was starting and Alcantara was also starting for the Marlins here, with the Phillies having a bunch of lefties in the lineup. So I saw the over 3.5 in the first 5, -135, placed the wager, wrote a ton of articles, one for SBR, a couple for other sites, and then the wager left MGM, disappeared. Now it's at 4.5 at -120. So it just shows you how sharp I am. Give myself a pat on the back. I get it. But let's go back to that game. If you want to take the 4.5 or you want to go a different route, I'll talk about it. I'll tell you the reasoning as to why I took this. Look at Matt Moore in his last 30 days, 6.63 xFIP, striking out 12.1% of batters, walking 10.3% of batters, ground ball rate 38.1%, hard contact above 35%. Oh, and against righties, 38 plate appearances in the last 30 days, 353 weighted OBA, ISO of 258. He's also striking out just 13.2% of batters and also walking 13.2% of the batters. On top of that, he allows home runs 2 times per 9 innings, and he'll probably go up against, and the lineup's not out yet, but eventually it will be, likely 7 righties, maybe 6 righties in the lineup, depending on if it's going to be Cooper or Sanchez in the lineup. But either one of those guys, they've got power to do some damage as well. So I love the Marlins lineup there against Moore, who's a lefty. You're going to have to face a ton of righties. And then you go to the Phillies, like I said, they're going to have a bunch of lefties in the lineup. It's going to be Brad Miller, Harper, Didi Gregorius, Jankowski, and even Knapp is going to be the catcher for the first game. And against lefties in the last 41 plate appearances, he's got a weighted OBA of 432, Alcantara does, and striking out just 9.8% of batters, walking nearly 14% of them. So with the weather being 94 degrees, the wind blowing out around 8 miles per hour to center field, I love this play over 3.5 in the first 5. I agree with the 4.5. You could take team totals on either of these teams in the first 5. I think both pitchers could allow 3 runs in this start in their first 5 innings. So anyway you want to go, take that analysis for what it's worth. But I love some runs in this first game.
Yeah, hot in Philadelphia as is. And also, as we talk about some of these first 5 lines, we do know DraftKings does offer those. Be nice if FanDuel gets in on it, and also at BetMGM. And hey, guys out there that you're bookmakers, put some alt lines on those first 5s. I'll pay more. You want to go from 2 to 1.5? I'll pay for it, and I'll win it as well. Kyle, what are you looking at tonight? Best bets and bankers.
Yeah, and I do agree with Donnie's sentiment. It is a little bit risky after a long layoff to come in here and start jumping on it. But damn it, it's Friday, so I got a team and a team that I like in the future here as well in the second half of the season. I'm going with the Reds team total over 4.5. Let me see what the number has moved to since it's moving as we speak. If I could find it, Reds over 4.5. I'm on the wrong side. Reds over 4.5. This is what you call smooth live television, folks. Over 4.5 -110. Look, this team has absolutely smashed Adrian Hauser. The projected lineup is a combined 34 of 95. That's a 358 average off of Hauser. You go up and down. Look at these lefties. Jesse Winker, 9 of 18, 5 home runs in his career off Hauser. Looking for a home run prop? There could be one there. Now, keep an eye on the weather in this game, of course. Looks like there's some thunderstorms, but it looks like they're moving quickly, so they should be able to get this game in. Again, that Milwaukee bullpen has not been as good at advertised. Tucker Barnhart, 3 of 8 lifetime with an 84% advantage. Votto, 5 of 13 lifetime, a home run. Naquin, 3 of 5 lifetime with a home run. Suarez, a couple of home runs. They have all smashed Adrian. Nick Castellanos, 7 of 20 lifetime with a home run. It's the highest weighted 3-year OPS pitcher against lineup today on the card is Hauser against the Reds. That Reds team total is my official play on the day, over 4.5. Looking for a home run prop, sprinkling some Jesse Winker. He's hit 5 and 18 at bats off of Hauser.
There you go. So we got some best bets on the card here. Let's get to that odds lightning round as we shoot through Major League Baseball. Jason, we'll start with you first. Typically, we'd go right to the Miami Marlins at Philadelphia Phillies first game of the doubleheader, but you already covered that one. So let's get to your New York Mets, 903-904. Stroman versus Kuhl, 8.5 across the board. The Mets looking healthy here. All those pieces finally put together. And Chad Kuhl, 127 xFIP minus, and that combining with the Sierra of 5.27, they should hit. They should hit. How many times have we said the Mets, Jason, should hit?
Yeah, the Mets should hit, of course. It's against Kuhl. And, Kuhl hasn't been terrible in the last 30 days. He's actually kind of held his own. But the walks are kind of what, become the disaster for him. He'll let guys on, and he's not great at holding them on. And then if you get a clutch hit or two, that's a disaster for Kuhl. And that's kind of what happens to him in most starts. But, recently, he hasn't been terrible. He will allow some power to righties. So, like Pete Alonso, of course, we called him the top power hitter in all of baseball yesterday. Yeah, he's the guy that can hit some home runs. A bunch of righties in the lineup can do some damage. There's probably not going to be many. So, it's going to be an interesting game for the Mets. They've been striking out a ton. Cole actually does get solid amount of strikeouts. He's getting 23.4% of strikeouts in the last 30 days. So this could be a game where the Mets are cold, or it could be a game where they just break out with a really great lineup. I mean, you look at this up and down this lineup. It's Nimmo.
Is J.D. Davis back, Jason? Did I see that where he's activated? I don't know if he's going to be in the lineup. But is he activated
yet, but potentially, he was in Syracuse for a week, and he was hitting a bunch of nice doubles, and he looked good. So offensively, he'll be great. Defensively, not so great. But for now, it looks like Villar projected in the lineup. But we'll see. I think Chris Bryant will take him over in a couple of weeks.
There you go. Let's see. Mets getting healthy here, and also deep-pocketed owners got some prospects to flip. If they add Chris Bryant, that certainly can help out here. So we'll see as these, teams get richer at the deadline to try to push towards the playoffs. Coming to you here, Kyle, for the next couple of games. We are going to skip over a couple of these because obviously, taking a look at the Philadelphia Phillies' second half of a doubleheader with Detweiler and Eflin. Don't know who's going to be in the lineup. No sense with that. Boston and New York capped that game yesterday. So let's get to 9:21, 9:22. Lyles and Ray. Interesting game here because you do have some power bats out here. Lyles not a great pitcher. Ray is a strikeout pitcher, but you're going to load up from the right-hand side. The one thing that Ray struggles a little bit with is ISO power numbers from right-handed bats. But look at this number, 248 to 250 across the board. No respect for Texas here, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to take a long shot, underdog shot on Texas, I suppose if you're trying to get cute, I don't mind it. Now, I will say Toronto profiles beautifully. Their team total over 5.5 was very, very close to making a value, and you've got 6 of their 9 hitters with weighted 3-year advantages of 35% or higher. We'll have to see how Vlad looks. He didn't do the home run derby. Is he ready to come out and start this year? A little home run propping him against Lyles is fine for me. Nothing really great. I mean, if you do the first 5 innings, even minus 0.5 is minus 180. Who wants anything to do with any of that? So the only way I'm betting this game, if I'm taking the side, I'm taking the underdog and taking that huge plus money spot just for fun, really, and just because it's baseball and anything can happen. And you're right, they do have some righties who do profile sort of nicely here off of Ray. Really, if you're going to bet the game, the safe one, the smart one, the one that makes the most sense would be that Blue Jays team total over 5.5.
All right, let's take a look what we got going on here. Next game up on deck, Milwaukee and Cincinnati. Hauser versus Molly. 8s across the board where they opened up, but now sitting at 9s to 9.5, and also 130 to 135, depending on what you're shopping at, as a favorite for the Cincinnati Reds in this game. When I take a look at some of the numbers, you got good ISO power numbers on both sides here. When you take a look at the Milwaukee Brewers 2021 season versus righties, Urias a 186, Adames 190, Narvaez 189, Garcia 215, Peterson 225. But then you take a look at Cincinnati. You have some off-the-chart numbers. Hauser's been a good pitcher, a little bit susceptible to lefties, but take a look at Winker versus right-handed pitching this year. 327 ISO power numbers. Castellanos 278, Votto 262, Naquin 234, Suarez 225. You got some power. Just need to connect tonight.
Yeah, the Reds, they towards the end of the break, they kind of got a little colder. Kyle and I, we both bet on the Reds against Hauser. Might have been a week and a half ago, and got the first 5, and then the Reds just went cold and weren't able to score anymore. But again, the Reds should have scored so many runs in that game. They had bases loaded every inning for the most part, and had guys in scoring position basically every inning. They were able to score 3 through 5, and then they went cold. But again, I love the Reds against Hauser. They smoke him like Kyle was talking about. I know that's his official play, and I completely agree with it. Just one clutch base hit is all you need for this team to get over. They should be able to get that job done today.
Kyle, we're going out to Kansas City. A little bit of hitting weather out there, but anytime you got Baltimore, it's always hitting weather. It seems like it's on the mound for them, whether it be their starting pitching or a bullpen. Aiken comes up the lefty, and the reason why I bring that up is you have to take a little bit of a leap of faith with Kansas City. Yeah. Lefty pitcher in Aiken versus righties this year. 384 weighted on base average and an ISO power number of over .200. But the problem is here, they're going to load up right-handed bats, but a lot of right-handed bats that have struggled versus lefties this season. How does that pertain tonight? What are you looking at? Any odds or advantages for you?
Well, I mean, there's a ton of advantages in that Royals lineup. You're absolutely right, especially when you use the bigger sample size, but it's the damn Royals, and you can't trust them. I think they just announced a little bit before the show that Duffy's going to start for Kansas City tonight,
Yes.
right, against Baltimore.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, I would lean the Royals here. I like their lineup. I didn't see a team total before it came out because they hadn't put any numbers out once Duffy got announced. If you're getting if you can find a 3.5 that's not super juiced up on Kansas City, I don't mind that. Maybe you get a plus number on the 4.5. It's a little dicey. I stayed away from this game. I want nothing to do with it, but I will say the Royals profile nicely. And if you're looking for a spot here, maybe after the numbers come out, if it's not too juiced, take a little stab at that Royals team total.
Well, take a look at this next game here, Jason. 9-11, 9-12, 8-15 start here. San Francisco and St. Louis. Check this out. Pinnacle opens up offshore with Gausman on the mound versus Wainwright. A -150 favorite to the road team, San Francisco Giants. We're now down to 124. New Jersey here at FanDuel, 156. We're now down to 138, 7.5 across the board. Do you agree with this line movement?
Yeah, this is a difficult one for sure. Both offenses kind of profile well in this game. Like, you got the Giants against righties in the last 30 days, 240 ISO, 368 weighted OBA. Striking out, the strikeouts are just 20.5%, so that's a lot better than it's been recently for this team. And also, walking 10% of the time. Wainwright hasn't been perfect either. He's been, pretty bad for the most part with an xFIP above 4.5 in the last 30 days. Then you go to the Cardinals. They're really good at not striking out. And then you have Gausman, who's a guy that's a big strikeout pitcher. If you go to the Cardinals, they're projecting the lineup, just 15.4% of the time are they striking out. Also, .162 ISO, weighted OBA 323. But they'll get the ball in play and they can do some damage with that. So I kind of like the Giants a little bit more, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals scored some runs either. So, Gausman has been great. Wainwright hasn't been great either. But Gausman didn't go to the All-Star game and didn't play, so he's healthy. He's ready to go. I think that could be a boost for the Giants. So I guess I would start with the Giants here.
All right, let's get out to Colorado here, Kyle. So you're up on deck if we start to break down this game down. Urias, the lefty on the mound for the Dodgers versus Senzatella. Taking a look at it, -200 opening up offshore at Pinnacle. That's down to 188. New Jersey opened up at a -210 favorite for the Dodgers. That's now down to a 198 across the boards. We're looking at 11s to 11.5s, depending on your shopping at. Looks like the big boy is going to be coming to play here for the Dodgers. Betts, Muncy, Turner, Bellinger, Smith, Taylor, Pollock, and Lux. They're on it for the second half of the season. They want to win a World Series. The World Series starts actually tonight at this point, trying to secure that #1 seed. It's a tough NL West. You need all the victories you can get, but also it's kind of interesting here how good Colorado has been at home. Does that work tonight?
Yeah, I mean, and so bad on the road, right? I mean, the only place they seem to play baseball is at home. But I will say this, the Dodgers absolutely pummel Senzatella. -3 fantasy points in his last 2 starts against them. You're looking at a team total of 6.5, a little bit too high for my blood, but you can get a -0.5 in the first 5 at -140. I do like Urias a whole lot more than Senzatella against the opposing lineup. And you're right, when you look at this, the advantages up and down the board. Mookie Betts, 5 of 10 lifetime, 2 home runs, 23% advantage. Bellinger, 19%. 22%, 55% for Gavin Lux, 5 for 11 lifetime. Justin Turner, 7 of 19 lifetime. Chris Taylor's even homered off of him. So up and down this order, there's advantages there. If you're going to bet the Dodgers, you got to get creative. 6.5, way too many runs for me to hang my hat on. But -0.5 in the first 5 at -140, I think that makes a lot of sense. That's what I would do in the first 5 innings if I'm betting the Dodgers.
All right, Seattle and the Angels. Flexen versus Heaney, the lefty on the mound. 163 offshore. That line is shortened up to 143. Seems like a common affair here where most people are saying, like, hey, coming back from the break, I'm not laying these heavy favorites. I'm just going to take those big dog prices and see what happens. And I tend to agree with it. Here in New Jersey, 168 is a favorite for the Angels. That's down to 148. The thing I always get a laugh at up here because Flexen is not a great pitcher. But when I look at the lineup for the Angels without Mike Trout and Anthony Rendon, it's basically Ohtani, Walsh, and complete trash around it. What are we looking at, Jason, from your perspective here?
Yeah, against righties, the Angels really haven't been that great. Recently, like you said, Ohtani, Walsh, and Goslin's been the only 3 guys in that lineup doing much damage against righties. But Flexen still does have a 5.35 xFIP in his last 30 days. Hasn't looked the best, striking out under 20% of batters. And ground balls aren't too bad. Doesn't allow too much hard contact. So I do think Flexen could kind of maneuver through this lineup for the Angels. Then you have the Mariners. They've got a solid amount of righties in the lineup to go up against the lefty and Heaney. And Heaney, not getting him any ground balls. His xFIP's high. He also walks a lot of batters, allowing solid amount of hard contact. Righties in his last 52 plate appearances, 433 weighted OBA, ISO 362. So the Mariners might be that team that can get the job done against the Angels here. You can't really expect Ohtani to come in and just do some damage after he had a hard weekend and break. He was everywhere doing a lot. So I mean, who knows if he'll even be in the lineup? I'm sure he will be, but you can't really rely on him. And with that said, outside of Ohtani, what do you have in the Angels lineup for the most part is nothing. So I would side with the Mariners here if you want to look at that underdog there.
All right, 9:15, 9:16, Chicago and Arizona, which I do have a value menu wager play on that horrendous Arizona Diamondbacks team. But taking a look at this game, Kyle, opened up at 9, now sits at 9.5. As we welcome back Madison Bumgarner here as the Arizona Diamondbacks try to make the playoffs. How about that, Kyle?
Yeah, I think there should be runs in this game, and I almost went to the Cubs team total, but I'm like, look, I can't be going the Mets, the A's, and then throw the Cubs on. I just throw a trifecta of untrustworthy teams out here. I'm dumb, but not that dumb. So no, all signs point to runs here. I think I like Donnie's look as well against Hendricks for Arizona. Arizona is just such a bad team, so it's hard for me to trust them. But both teams should score runs here. I sort of lean the over in this game. The Cubs should get it done. They should smash Bumgarner, and then you're into that Arizona bullpen, which is really, really bad. So I do like the team total here for the Cubs as I'm getting the updated. I just refreshed it. Let's get the updated number for the Cubs. Over 4.5, minus 140. So it's juiced up just a little bit here, but they should be able to get it done. Both teams like their team totals, and I think runs are scored in this game.
Yeah, in that game, Chicago actually opened up as a minus 135 offshore, now up to a 150. People just not only looking to fade Bumgarner, but fade Arizona overall. But that's the beauty of team totals. Beat them 20-4. Who cares? 4 is a winner. That's all I care about in this one. 931, 932. Another, common theme today. Cleveland and Oakland here, Jason. Morgan versus Bassett on the mound. Opened up at 200 offshore. This one down to 194. Opened up at 215 in New Jersey. Now down to 205. Just people taking chunks out of these dogs to see how that's going to work out. 8.5 is a total. Closing now down to 8. Morgan versus Bassett. Any thoughts here, Jason?
Yeah, I do like runs in this game, but you are in Oakland, so it's a pitcher's ballpark, kind of hard. But like Kyle says, obviously the A's, they match up really well against Morgan. I mean, Morgan, this is a guy, he's looked better. He's not walking batters. He's striking out batters. But when he's not doing that, he's allowing extra base hits, allowing home runs, and getting hit really hard. Ground ball percentage is 20.9%. Hard contact, 45%. So, yeah, he's getting strikeouts, he's getting walks, but when he's not doing that, it's hard hit balls, going over the fence, extra base hits, and that's what Oakland should be able to do. And then on the other hand, you have Cleveland. They've actually been pretty good against righties as of late. You got like Jose Ramirez, you have Franmil Reyes, you've got Perez and Mercado. All these guys have solid ISO numbers against righties as of late. Bassett, he's actually struggled against lefties a little bit, 14% strikeouts and 11.6% walks. So he hasn't been the best. I know he's a Cy Young candidate if you want to go there. But, at the end of the day, yeah, struggle against lefties. Should be solid, but there is a way that the Indians can score some runs and kind of help Kyle, with getting Oakland with another team to, score runs as well and just kind of be that running mate. So, I like runs here, but I would side with Oakland more than the Indians.
All right, let's clear the bases and get out of here on a Major League Baseball Friday right here on SportsBookReview.com. But before they do that, we always like to wrap up and tell you guys exactly what we're digging on tonight. I'm going to be watching a ton of baseball, just not betting a ton of baseball, but I do have a small play in on a very bad team, the Arizona Diamondbacks team total over 3.5 at minus 120 at BetMGM. Jason, what are you looking forward to tonight? What do you have? Best bets, bankers, and also value menu wagers.
Yeah, so the value will be the Padres over 2.5 in the first 5 on the team total at minus 125. And of course, the official play was made way before the show, and then I couldn't give out the right number. But I'm on over 3.5 in the first 5 at minus 135. You can get that now at over 4.5 in the first 5 at minus 120, or you can go with team totals for the Marlins or for the Phillies at around 2.5 and hope that either of those teams can get a 3. Again, with Sandy Alcantara and Matt Moore on the mound, I do think that we'll see both teams be able to score 2 to 3 runs in the first 5 innings each, and I wouldn't be surprised if that would be the case. So take the analysis how you want, but there's always tomorrow, there's always the next day. And I just want to also point out, I'm going to be on the SBR Twitter handle from 4 to 5, just answering all your questions from baseball, just anything. So don't be shy, get in there, ask me a question or two. I'll be watching this Marlins-Phillies game while on the Twitter for SBR, so I'll be sweating, I'll be tweeting, I'll be typing. We'll have a great time. So join me there from 4 to 5 on the SBR Twitter handle.
Now, what you should be doing at 4 to 5 while you're answering questions is watching a football show, not the Miami Marlins game. But that's for another day.
What the hell's going on here, Jason? Company man.
Fair enough.
Kyle, what you got tonight?
I want to touch on too. If you have relationship questions, marriage questions, hit Jason up on the Twitter handle. He's ready to go. Okay.
Wait, hold on, Kyle. First question you guys got to ask, when Jason has his, ask me anything there, is ask him if he likes the game, whether it's 3.5, 4.5, or 5.5. Go ahead, Kyle.
Exactly. Exactly. It's perfect. So the value menu took that A's team total over 4.5 minus 120. Of course, it makes me nervous. It's the A's, and I said I would never do it again, but the numbers don't lie. So here we are. I also like Jason's Mets to get over that 4.5. I think they should smash cool today. I love all the lefties starting to come back in that lineup. I think they score runs today. I like that Mets team total over 4.5 as well. My play of the day is the Reds team total over 4.5 as well, over Hauser. They just smash on Hauser, those lefties with huge ISO power numbers, as Donnie touched on, off of Hauser. I like that Reds team total over 4.5 as my official play of the day. Home run prop, Jesse Winker, if you want to get there. Well, actually took a lower prop. I think he gets at least 2 hits from bases at minus 122 if you want to go that route as well. And if you start to get a little bit nervous about something, maybe you're looking for a strikeout prop, start with the Tampa Bay Rays. They're the worst strikeout team in baseball. That's where I always start. It tends to pay off. Alek Manoah 9.5 went over 6.5 in like 3 innings the last time they did it. So Tampa Bay likes to strike out. That'd be another spot I'd look at.
All right, let's get on out of here on a Friday, guys. Thanks for bringing the heat in the chat box as we kick off the second half of Major League Baseball in style. And also one quick note here, lineup. Jordan Montgomery is going to start for the Yankees here on Friday, not Domingo Germán. So just a slight change in that one. But as we get out of town, thanks again for joining us. I'm Donnie Seymour for Jason Radowitz and Kyle Purviance. We are the SportsBookReview.com Major League Baseball team. This was your show for Friday. Good luck on all those wagers this weekend.